Today on Studio One, fall time includes colorful leaves, falling temperatures, and of course, pumpkin patches. We'll tag along with some children as they experience some fall fun. Also, we'll show you a program that uses creative ways to keep their senior residents active. And California passed a law banning heavy backpacks for kids. We'll tell you how others are dealing with the same issue.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hello everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Kelly Anderson. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, you can tell Halloween is right around the corner.
Yeah, you're starting to see jack-o'-lanterns and tons of Halloween candy in the stores.
Yep, and as I was driving into work today, I actually saw, I guess you could call it a pumpkin man.
A pumpkin
it was
sounds
like,
frightening.
Yeah, it was like a snowman, except it was 3 pumpkins, a big one on the bottom, you know,
okay.
smaller,
We've got some creative people out there.
Yeah.
And actually later in the show, we're going to have an artist come on and teach us how we can make some own creative crafts of our own.
Yeah,
So
with stuff that we have in our own homes, so it should be fun. Also on the show, technology is changing the way students learn. We'll tell you how many colleges are requiring their students to use more than just textbooks.
The National Institution on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism reports 80% of college students drink alcohol and half engage in heavy drinking. This statistic is alarming to many university officials nationwide. We'll tell you about college programs that are trying to help curb this problem.
Before we get to all that, today's news with Haley Wamstead.
Thanks, Monty and Kelly. People in the Washington, D.C. area might be able to sleep better tonight. Early Thursday morning, police arrested 2 men who they believe are responsible for the recent sniper killings. John Allen Muhammad, also known as John Allen Williams, and his stepson John Lee Malvo were arrested at a rest stop near Washington, D.C. A motorist saw the suspect's vehicle with 2 men sleeping inside at about 1 a.m. and called the police. Authorities quickly surrounded the rest stop and arrested the suspects. The vehicle was found parked near Interstate 70, about 50 miles northwest of Washington, D.C. Police were searching for Williams' car after issuing a federal arrest warrant for a firearms charge. Authorities found a rifle, scope, and tripod in the vehicle. The caliber of the rifle matches the type of bullets used in the sniper shootings. Investigators say they were looking into a possible connection to a fatal shooting at a liquor store in Montgomery, Alabama. Muhammad and Malvo are being interrogated at a jail in Montgomery County, Maryland, where the string of shootings began 3 weeks ago. Next month starts the peak season for influenza, better known as the flu. So the best time to get vaccinated is now, since it will provide time for the immune system to build an adequate defense. The flu can affect anyone of any age, and the symptoms can range from high fever to muscle aches. That's why this year the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is advising that children under 24 months also get the vaccine.
And it's because they have determined that children under the age of 2 years, the flu virus could probably be their first encounter with a viral infection.
Nelson also says that because the flu virus is more severe than a cold, a child exposed to it for the first time may end up with a complication that could send them to the hospital. It is also recommended that anyone who comes in contact with children should get a flu shot so they won't transmit the disease. Some food companies are trying to change the words on their labels to attract more shoppers. The companies are seeking federal approval so they can avoid using the word irradiation on foods treated with the disease-killing process. Instead, they could use language like cold pasteurization. Irradiation destroys deadly microorganisms such as E. coli and Salmonella in some meat and other products. Some environmentalists fear using high-energy radiation on foods could have harmful side effects for consumers. The FDA says any company can apply to revise its irradiation labels as long as the new label is not false or misleading. Laptop computers are becoming a common sight around college campuses, but at many universities, laptops are not just a convenience, they're a necessity.
You see them in the hallways and classrooms of college campuses across the country. Administrators have found that laptops can be so beneficial to students that many now require students to have them while they attend class. The University of North Dakota School for Aerospace Sciences requires all students who attend aerospace classes to participate in the department's laptop program. The director of the laptop program says it's a matter of convenience.
First and foremost is the fact that the students don't have to go someplace for computer usage.
The laptops are also used quite extensively in the classrooms as well.
We found that there are a number of applications that we use in the classrooms for the students that are beneficial to the students in their work in aviation.
By requiring laptops, students have greater access to the resources they need.
If you don't have a computer, in my case, you get one provided for you, and you can use it to do a lot of research and stuff. I use it in my dorm room quite a bit.
Many students like the ability to take notes on the computer. Students can also use the laptops to follow PowerPoint presentations at their own pace. But despite the benefits, some students are concerned about the cost. At UND Aerospace, students have to pay more than $400 a semester for a laptop, and at some schools it's much higher. For the UND Aviation students, that cost includes professional versions of the latest software, as well as many training programs that can only be attained through the school.
We also provide all the technical support and service for the computers, and we do tell our students that if they have a problem that we can't take care of in 15 minutes, we take another one off the shelf for them so that they're not without a computer.
As schools begin to provide more technology in the classroom, more universities believe that requiring their students to carry laptops is the next step in the process. For Studio One News, I'm Troy Clifton.
Colleges and universities are not the only ones requiring students to have laptops. Many private elementary and high schools around the country require them as well. And that's news for now. Monty and Kelly?
Thank you, Haley. Well, I know computers have found their way into everyone's lives.
Pretty much mandatory by now. And I know a few people who use a lot of computers in their work as our weather team over at the Regional Weather Information Center. Let's go to John for the forecast.
Well, Monty and Kelly, with the assistance of the computers, we've been looking at that forecast that's coming up. Is it going to be warming up anytime soon? We'll have that just a little bit later in the show, but let's right now take a look at Grand Forks Almanac data. High for today so far has been 31 degrees. Typically this time of year our high should be about 51 degrees, so we are about 20 degrees below normal. We're actually a lot closer to our average lows for this time of year for highs, so it's very, very chilly out there, and our sunset this evening will be at 6:24 p.m. Currently in Grand Forks, that sun is just sticking out of the clouds just a little bit. Temperature a little cooler than our highs for today, right at 30. Dew point of 17, and we have southwest winds at 13 miles an hour. Current temperatures across the region, it is very chilly across North Dakota and South Dakota, 32 in Fargo, 32 in Sioux Falls, 31 in Rapid City, and it's warming up pretty nicely out west, 45 in Casper, and 37 degrees for those of you out in Billings, Montana. Current surface analysis, we have a stationary front starting in about Montana, sliding all the way into Florida. That should help spark off a few thunderstorms into the areas around Texas and into Florida. As we zoom into our area, we have mostly cloudy skies dominating and a low pressure system sitting just off to the north of us. And there's an approaching cold front. And as we work in our way into Friday, it's going to be sticking or holding off just a little bit to the north of us, but that should push through the weekend, keeping our temperatures rather cool and keeping our skies for the most part pretty cloudy. Here's our Grand Forks forecast: 35 for a high tomorrow with a low around 23. With a few flurries around the area and south winds at 5 to 15 miles an hour. Weather IQ question: an El Nino season is characterized by what feature? Warming in the North Atlantic or the South Pacific Oceans, or cooling in the South Atlantic and North Pacific Oceans? So Monty and Kelly will have the answer to that and the extended forecast in the second half of the show.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, John. Well, El Nino, that's a term I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, a couple years ago I think it was.
Used to be pretty prevalent.
Yeah,
but
it was all over the news all the time.
I'm sure he'll keep us informed on that.
Of course, we'll wait for that answer later. Now let's go to some sports news with Corey Morlock.
Thanks, Monty and Kelly. The Anaheim Angels are continuing their offensive streak. Going into Game 4 of the World Series, the Angels were averaging 8 runs a game in the playoffs. The Giants look to stop the Angels' streak as the two teams faced off in San Francisco Wednesday night. To Pac Bell Park, top third 1-0 Angels, Troy Gloss keeps the Angels' offense going. The 2-run shot that just clears the fence, Anaheim up 3-0. Bottom eighth, all tied at 3, David Bell lines one up the middle. JT Snow trying to come in from second and just beats a throw by Darren Erced. Giants would go up 4-3. Now top 9, Rob Nen in to seal the win for the Giants to get Brad Fulmer to ground in the game-ending double play. The series tonight is now tied at 2 games. Hockey now, Kings at Red Wings, game tied at 2. Lidstrom feeds Fedorov, who unleashes the slapper past Felix Potvin, 3-2 Wings. Only 3 minutes later, Jason Allison up the middle fires a wicked shot past Cujo for the goal. The game would end in a 3-3 tie. Sports has always been an important part of high school in the U.S., but there are more benefits to sports than just keeping physically fit. Studies show kids who participate in sports are less likely to drop out of school and more likely to go on to college. Student athletes also often have increased self-esteem and are less likely to use drugs. Many of those involved in high school athletics say sports help students learn important life lessons.
They provide you with a chance to work with others, teamwork. You face adversity, you learn how to deal with that, you learn to work hard and discipline yourself.
Some people say sports take attention away from schoolwork, but Royce says there needs to be a fine balance between sports and academics. She says both teachers and parents have expressed concern about sports intruding on schoolwork, but many schools do take precautions to make sure athletes still do well in school. It's now time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. This week's question, who holds the record for the most assists in an NBA game? Is it Scott Skiles, John Stockton, Magic Johnson, or Isaiah Thomas? We'll have the answer to that and more sports in the second half hour of the show. Monty and Kelly?
Thank you, Corey. Stay tuned. We'll preview a thrilling new movie that is full of deceptive twists that will keep you guessing until the very end.
Also, some college students party and drink alcohol during their college years. We'll talk to a university vice president about how colleges are trying to combat this problem. They are giving students alternatives to this lifestyle.
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The University of North Dakota. You can go anywhere from here. At UND, you'll find a challenging, exciting community that draws students from across the nation and around the world. Visit our campus and join the University of North Dakota community.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
At UND Aerospace, let your future take flight. Plan your education in the most technologically advanced collegiate and contract aerospace training environment on the planet. Graduates work for top agencies and fly for every major airline nationwide. Study on campus, via distance learning, or at any of our facilities, and you'll be where the aviation industry leaders of tomorrow are today. UND Aerospace at the University of North Dakota, Grand Forks.
You're watching Studio One, news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
The National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism report that 25% of college students experience academic consequences from drinking. Dropouts, low grade point averages, and poor class attendance can all be factors of drinking too much alcohol. Universities all over the U.S. are trying to combat this problem by creating programs and alternatives for students. The University of North Dakota's Vice President of Student Outreach and Services, Bob Boyd, is here to tell us about this growing problem. Thank you for coming on the show today, Bob.
You're very welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, how big of a problem is this on campuses?
Well, allow me to preface that by saying that on occasion I say to President Capcella on a Monday morning when we meet with Cabinet that we have 12,423 students on campus. 12,420 made good decisions. Now allow me to tell you about the 3 who didn't.
Sure.
The issue, of course, is one that is of growing concern to us. And it's being really driven, I think, by 2 realities of this region. One is that North Dakota is number 1 in the number of people 12 years and older who binge drink. We are number 1 in the nation. And we are also number 1 in the number of high school students who are binge drinkers. So there is a culture within the state that unfortunately sets us up for some of the difficulties we see as the students come to our campus.
Why is there such a pressure then for young people to drink and binge drink?
Well, there are many people. In fact, there is a task force in the state of North Dakota operating right now to try and answer those questions. We're not sure why it happens. We think in part it is a culture that may very well be a culture from the people who settled in this part of the country, that the consumption of alcohol is okay even though you're underage. In fact, in a recent survey that we did, it was done in 1999 with a very large number of the students who come here as freshmen, they told us that 20% of them who did binge drink did so with the permission of their parents. That's a cultural matter. It is not a matter of just some poor decisions being made by students. It really is something that is being accepted at home.
And when you hear the term alcoholism, you think of it as an adult problem.
Yes.
And what about younger people? Is there a rise in young adults?
Well, there is, and unfortunately, that's where we are seeing the increase. We're seeing that not only are underaged young people consuming alcohol and consuming it to the point of actually binge drinking, which by most definitions means 4 or 5 drinks in a relatively short period of time, usually about an hour. We're not only seeing that underage drinking is taking place, but it is increasing. That needs to be alarming to all of us. The truth is that many of our students who come here and abuse alcohol at UND have come with those habits and practices already established.
It's obviously a big concern, and you've helped set up a commission.
Yes.
On student use of alcohol. Tell us about that.
Well, it is a commission. Actually, it's appointed by me and also whomever happens to be the president of the student body. It's a commission made up of students and faculty and staff. The majority of the commission ends up being students. And that was very, very intentional, because we happen to believe that if there's going to be if real progress is going to be made on this problem, it's going to be because students decide that it is something they wish to have changed. When it's no longer cool to put a funnel in your mouth and pour alcohol into it among our students, then things will begin to cease. We can't put enough policemen on. We can't add more things to our code of student life, terms of policy and procedure. It comes down to individual decisions that are being made about whether or not I'm going to abuse alcohol, and for those of who are underage, whether or not I'm going to use it at all.
What are some alternatives and programs that are being put in place for people who want to do other things?
Yeah, well, I must tell you, the student government and others have really tried hard to provide some alternatives for students. And we do have many of them. We have 260-some student groups on our campus. I mean, there's almost every night there's a student activity going on of some sort. Of course, we have an extensive athletic program on our campus. In addition to that, there are all other kinds of things to be able to take part in. And unfortunately, you can't satisfy the need of everybody. But student government has, through its University Programming Council, worked very hard to try and provide alternatives, particularly for students who are underage.
Now, a while ago in politics, the politicians, they started a war on drugs, and
Yes.
that basically failed for them. They couldn't beat it. How do you see this going? Is this something that you're just going to have to manage and try, or do you think it can be beaten?
Well, at one time I was a high school principal of a very large high school. And it was very interesting. Now and then I would have parents who would come in and get quite excited about marijuana, for instance. Well, we knew through the network that we have there was very little marijuana being used. But it would not be difficult for me to get a whole gymnasium full of parents interested about that topic. But as soon as I said to them, we're also going to talk about alcohol, I would probably have 7 or 8 people show up. Unfortunately, it's a cultural issue. Parents don't want to talk about it, in part because too many of them are users and even abusers themselves. They don't know how to talk about this with their young people. And as a consequence, until we begin to change the culture, it's going to be difficult for us to address as successfully as we would like it to be.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Bob, for coming and telling us about this problem and the things that you're trying to do to help out with that.
You're very welcome. Thanks for asking me.
All right. Coming up, we'll take a look at a new movie that proves appearances can be deceiving. No one is who they seem to be in The Truth About Charlie. And it's time to start looking for that perfect pumpkin to carve. We'll join a group of kids whose search for pumpkins led to an afternoon of unforgettable fun.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, Native American Programs is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
The Truth About Charlie is a mystery thriller with a sense of humor. In the movie, a woman named Reggie searches for the answers about her husband's murder and missing fortune. Mark Wahlberg plays Joshua Peters, who meets Reggie while vacationing. He is eager to help her with the investigation. When Reggie returns home to Paris from vacation, she finds her apartment and bank account emptied. As Reggie's suspicion grows, Joshua reveals a growing affection for her. Tim Robbins plays an American embassy official in the film. His character makes the situation even more complicated.
There's a lot of deception in the script, and people aren't who they seem to be, and there's many surprises.
The movie was filmed in Paris, where laws permit cameras to shoot anywhere without a tripod. The result was a movie with many scenes shot from a camera operator's shoulder. The Truth About Charlie is due out in theaters on October 25th of this year. Now, time to take a look at the events happening in your area. There is more to Halloween than just tricking or treating. Some people travel to pumpkin patches to select the precise pumpkin for carving. Others go there to simply have some fall fun.
When the kids first come here, they climb on board for a ride through the countryside. Ida Mae Hendrickson says it was too cold this year to keep the pumpkins in the field. She says the kids love to pick pumpkins, but there's more to her farm than giant orange veggies.
Okay, we have corn maze, straw maze, and we have tractor tires, and we have cutouts for them to take pictures, and then we take everyone for a hayride.
The kids run and jump around the miniature maze until it is time to explore the giant corn maze. The children group up to try and help one another find their way, but most of them still manage to get lost in the thick corn. Once the rest of them find their way back, the kids discover they have one more surprise to take home to their parents. While some kids work hard at getting rid of this evidence, others are enjoying the time with their friends. Elsewhere, kids are poking their heads around so they can get their picture taken. Ida May says seeing the kids enjoy themselves makes this all worth it. As their little journey through the pumpkin patch comes to a close, they gather for a mid-afternoon snack.
It's Halloween, my darling.
Once they are done eating, they gather up to head home. But before they leave this pumpkin playground, they each get to pick one souvenir to take home. Ida May says the whole experience is something the kids will always remember.
A lot of the kids have never seen a tractor, and they've never been out in the field, and it's just the whole general thing of it that we just enjoy.
Whether it is corn, pumpkins, or just a little mud, the kids will leave here knowing that there is more to Halloween than just eating candy. Reporting for Studio One, I'm James DeGelder.
Ida May has had her pumpkin patch open to the public for about 20 years. She says it will continue to be open as long as the kids keep coming back. During the week, kids across the U.S. lug heavy backpacks to and from school. We'll tell you how concern about this problem is leading to change. Also, a friendly golden retriever named George and a talking parakeet are just a few of the characters working to brighten the lives of the elderly. We'll tell you about the program that is bringing these friendly and feathered friends into nursing homes nationwide. That story, plus news, sports, and the weather in the next half hour on Studio One.
North Dakota has been home to many successful entrepreneurs. George Bull and his partners found value in farina, the whitest part of wheat, and created cream of wheat. Patrick Haggerty is the founder of one of the nation's high-tech giants, Texas Instruments. And Raymond Rood's product has been used in every Olympic competition since 1960. He is responsible for the modern diving board. Ryan Foltz is the first graduate of the UND Entrepreneurship Program. Are you next?
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, and you were saying earlier in the show how you can tell that Halloween is coming up because you see all the decorations out there. One other thing you can tell is coming up are the elections.
Yes.
You turn on a TV any time of day, this time of year, and you're going to get hit with the campaigns.
A lot of politicians knocking on doors right now, and there's a lot of TV advertising going on.
Some of it not so nice.
Yep, there's some negative campaigning going on. Later in the show, we're going to talk to some young people about smear campaigns. Also coming up, heavy backpacks can be harmful to young students. We'll tell you how legislation and some creative thinking are dealing with the problem.
And residents in senior communities often struggle with loneliness and boredom. We'll tell you how some special helpers are solving these problems with a creative new program.
Also, store shelves are stocked with candy and costumes, evidence that Halloween is near. Later in the show, we'll have some Halloween fun. We're going to take a look at how to learn how to make a few spooky decorations ourselves with supplies you can find at home.
Should be fun.
Yes. Before we get to that, today's news with Haley Wamstead.
Thanks, Monty and Kelly. A group of about 40 Chechen rebels are still holding people hostage in a Moscow theater. Last night, in the middle of a musical, the rebels stormed the theater and took over. They took nearly 700 people hostage. The gunmen have released several people since the standoff began, including 3 children and a British national. The group is threatening to shoot or blow up their captives unless Russia pulls its troops out of Chechnya and puts an end to the wars. They have already shot one woman in the chest. On Thursday, the gunmen fired bazookas at 2 women who escaped while medical personnel were entering the building. The Chechen situation is not the only thing on the minds of Russian officials. They are also dealing with negotiations over a UN resolution on Iraq. They are refusing to add their support along with France to the Bush administration's proposal for a new Iraq resolution. The United States presented its revised resolutions to the entire 15-nation council on Wednesday, but Russia and France are still opposed to any hint of UN approval for the U.S. to use force. They are planning to have the UN Chief Weapons Inspector brief the Security Council next week on what he needs to learn from Iraq to get everyone to agree. The September 11th attacks have spawned trouble for stadiums and arenas. In the Al-Qaeda playbook, amusement parks, stadiums, and arenas were specifically targeted. As a result, insurance premiums for those facilities have skyrocketed. Some facilities are actually considered lucky to only see a 40% premium increase on general liability. These costs are expected to continue climbing for a while. With these increases, terrorism coverage is excluded from most property policies. The price to add terrorism coverage is extremely high, yet the coverage limits can be very low. With the rise in insurance, sports and entertainment fans will be the ones left to help pay these insurance hikes through increased prices. Other facilities such as the Alaris Center in Grand Forks, North Dakota, plans on covering the increased insurance in a different way.
So hopefully we offset it by having more activity here at the Alaris Center.
Some facilities are actually going without terrorism coverage for now because the cost outweighs the benefits. A new product to correct nearsightedness without glasses or surgery is now on the market. These new contact lenses can be worn when you're asleep. They correct eyes to nearly 20/20 vision by molding the cornea into its proper shape. The patient can remove the contacts in the morning and have improved eyesight for up to 18 hours. The first patients must wear the contacts every night, but after a few weeks, they only need to wear them 2 to 3 times a week. The contacts cost up to $3,000 depending on the length of treatment and the number of lenses needed. School children have been complaining about the amount of homework that their teachers assign for as long as there have been schools. A few states have begun to take a serious look at a different kind of grumble that has been heard in the hallways of some schools.
Several states have raised concerns regarding the amount of weight their students should be allowed to carry in their backpacks. A recent study found that more than half of 5th through 8th graders carry more than 15% of their body weight on their backs. The American Academy of Pediatrics says that amount may be too heavy and unsafe for children. In California, legislation was recently passed to limit the weight a child's backpack may contain, and New Jersey is considering similar legislation. In schools like this one in Grand Forks, North Dakota, educators are trying to solve the weight problem without the need for a law to persuade them.
I think it's necessary to have a law if it's a problem, if you see it as a critical issue. In our school, we've done some things to eliminate that issue.
Here, the school has implemented a dual textbook system as a possible way to combat the weight problem.
They have a textbook in the classroom and then a textbook for home, and those are 2 newly adopted textbooks. So I think that's a good aspect that we're moving towards, so the students aren't carrying all these books.
Another way some educators are helping children out is by working in teaching teams. In teams, teachers get together to plan out a weekly schedule so they can avoid loading the children up with homework on one particular day. Many children enjoy the way in which the team teaching system works. They like how their homework is carefully planned out.
You don't have so much homework on one day and then like another day you just watch movies all day. I don't know. So like they spread it out all the way.
Educators in Grand Forks, North Dakota feel they are taking appropriate steps on their own to keep students from getting injured by the weight of their backpacks. They feel it is unnecessary to have laws that restrict the weight of backpacks if the schools take the lead in lightening the kids' burden. I'm Sean McKenna, reporting for Studio One.
According to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, backpack-related injuries send about 7,000 students a year to emergency rooms nationwide. And that's news for today. Monty and Kelly.
Thanks a lot, Haley. Well, you know, those backpacks, they get so heavy because those kids learn so much today.
You know, I think as a student, I would maybe argue that it's just because they give us too much homework.
Well.
I agree with the little kids. But let's go back to the Regional Weather Information Center with John Randall to see what he has for us this time. John.
Well, Monty and Kelly will have your extended forecast coming up in just a little bit. Will it show any signs of warmth? We'll just have to wait and see. Right now, let's take a look at Grand Forks' current conditions. Currently in Grand Forks, we are sitting at that 30-degree mark still, with just a little bit of sunshine peeking through the clouds. Dew point at 18 degrees, south winds at 15 miles an hour, and our pressure is slowly falling now at 3.25 inches of mercury. Well, the weather obviously affects everyone every day, and sometimes some people rely on the weather so much they need to know up to the minute just what is happening outside.
Dressing for weather is just one problem you face in the morning. It can be inconvenient to wait for your local weather forecast on radio or TV. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, offers a service to people who want to know what the weather is right now.
NOAA Weather Radio is a system which broadcasts products from the National Weather Service to the public.
Whether it be hourly or the 7-day forecast, NOAA Weather Radio keeps you updated on all outdoor conditions. The National Weather Service sends out warnings over this radio even before they are broadcast on TV.
Especially during severe weather, it's the most reliable, quickest way to get your information.
Currently, the National Weather Service is working on updating this system. One major improvement is the advancement in computer voice technology. There are 3 human-like voices that speak the forecast. With NOAA Weather Radio, you can receive information for several counties or program them to your specific location.
This is NOAA Weather Radio for Nadine Schroeder reporting for Studio One.
The radios range from $50 to $100 and can be found at various electronic stores. Well, it doesn't look like we're going to have too much severe weather going around our area. Here's our extended forecast for Grand Forks. Friday, highs right around 35, holding right around those low 30s for the rest of the weekend. And into Monday, we'll see another chance of some snow flurries on Monday with highs right around 33. Weather IQ and El Nino season is characterized by what feature? The answer is B, warming in the South Pacific. So Monty and Kelly, I wish we could get a little warming in our area, but it doesn't look like that's going to be happening anytime soon.
All right, well, thanks a lot, John. Yeah, sounds like we're closer to getting snow than we are to get warming.
Winter's right around the corner.
Yes,
now, he was talking about El Nino. You know Spanish. What does it mean, literally, El Nino?
The Nino.
The Nino. Really?
It means young boy or something like that.
Okay.
I'm not even sure.
The Nino is easier. Let's go now to sports news. Corey Morlock has more info for us.
Thanks, Monty and Kelly. The popularity of contact sports is rising, and so are sports-related injuries. Each year, more than 775,000 children under the age of 15 are treated in emergency rooms for sports injuries.
The pride that forms with scoring your first goal and the teamwork that develops within a team are great reasons to involve children in sports. But with flying elbows and collisions, youth contact sports are making sports authorities and medical associations ask the question, how young is too young? During a soccer game, balls can travel up to 30 miles per hour. If a player heads a ball at that speed, it can generate 200 pounds of force. Without proper technique, headers pose a danger for young children.
We ask the coaches not to teach it at the young ages, so because they're not technically capable of doing it correctly, most of the time they let the ball hit themselves instead of them hitting the ball.
Similar to soccer, hockey poses some concern in child safety. Most childhood injuries are caused by body checks, especially when one player is larger or more resilient than the other.
Some of the group that you see a wide range is when you get to the band of the 13 to 14, because some have hit their growth spurt, others are just getting into their growth spurt. So you do see a lot of monsters against a lot of small little 5'2" guys on the ice at times at that level.
Over the past few years, U.S. Hockey has tried to eliminate checking in the 11 to 12-year-old bracket and begin checking with the 13 and 14-year-olds. For leagues where checking is allowed, a small piece of fabric is helping to keep players from checking from behind.
They're starting now to put little stop signs in the back of game jerseys. And I guess the rule of thumb is if you get too close to a player where you can read that stop sign, they're not very big, but it's a red little stop sign. If you can see that and see the word stop, then don't hit a player if he's going straight into the board.
There's a certain amount of risk involved in any type of sports play. Parents, coaches, and program supervisors are ultimately responsible for providing a safe playing environment. Coaches say that being educated in sports injuries and prevention methods will cut down on the number of sports injuries in the future. I'm Megan Tweeder reporting for Studio One Sports.
Some organizations are trying to push soccer players to wear headgear. The Institute for Sports, Science, and Safety says that because some headgear is made of plastic, it could cause added injuries. Now time for the answer to this week's Studio One Sports trivia question. This week's question was, who holds the record for the most assists in an NBA game? Answers A, Scott Skiles, who had 30 assists for the Orlando Magic. And that's sports for today. Monty and Kelly.
Thank you, Corey. Get ready to be creative. We'll show you how to use the tools in your own home to create some spooky Halloween crafts.
And the latest employees in some senior care centers are not your typical healthcare workers. Puppies and parakeets are now roaming the halls of many elderly homes nationwide. We'll tell you why. That story is next on Studio One.
Liberal arts have always been the foundation of a good education. At the University of North Dakota, the liberal arts education is the cornerstone for more than 150 major fields of study that prepare students to be the leaders of the future. Here at UND, we also believe that the fine arts are important building blocks for success and for leading a rich, full life. And you never know where an interest in music might take you.
UND's Conflict Resolution Center is your regional training resource for conflict transformation and prevention. Conflict is inevitable in the business world. Your ability to manage it is key to your success. That's where we can help. We provide on-site training, mediation, and facilitation services customized for your organization. The UND Conflict Resolution Center, capturing the positive energy of conflict and transforming it into human potential.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
He said this, she did that. Political campaigns can get ugly. Some candidates create negative advertisements in an attempt to get your vote. USA Today says politicians have spent almost $1 billion on TV ads in the last 2 years. That includes all the negative ads that you will see on TV as well. With a midterm federal election coming up in a few weeks, we asked young people their thoughts on smear campaigns.
I don't really appreciate it. It's kind of a pain to have to watch on television, and it's never really influenced the way that I vote, and probably is a tactic that is used mostly when that person or party doesn't have a very strong platform. And
I disagree with it. I don't think it will influence or change my decision in any way or form.
Well, this guy's just trying to befuddle this guy's name and completely throw him in the mud when
they're doing the exact opposite of what they're really wanting to gain by the negative campaigning.
I personally think that there's too much of it, and usually I tend to see that it's from the candidates who aren't very confident in their campaign.
You know, the campaigners are more worried about what the other people say and to get the job and on the issue on hands and what the people feel and think.
I disagree with it, and I'd probably change my opinion on the person who was doing it.
Pets, young kids, and live plants have never been so popular within the walls of nursing homes. Senior homes across the nation are trying to change the way people feel about living and working in nursing homes.
Within these doors, you'll find many empty bird cages. There's also a vacant dog kennel belonging to George, a friendly golden retriever. These animals aren't missing, they're just simply doing their job.
It's actually a new philosophy that they're kind of implementing for nursing homes, and it's referred to as the eat-in alternative.
Loneliness, helplessness, and boredom can sometimes be a problem in some nursing homes. The eat-in alternative was developed to take care of those problems.
Alternative to try to make it more of, like it's called a home, where you bring in the pets, you bring in the kids, you bring in the live plants.
Oh yes, I like anything that's got life in, if they aren't too ferocious.
They're like the parakeets and then it's kind of neat to have something sitting on your shoulder looking over your shoulder, you know.
Dan says the program eliminates boredom and creates spontaneity. It gives residents an opportunity to interact and have a continuing companionship.
So we try to find ways where the residents can provide care, and some of the ways we can do that is with the plants.
I guess whenever I see that they don't have water, I'm there to put water in the canisters.
For Joanne, gardening and tending to the flower pots is not only a hobby of hers, but a job that she takes great pride in. The organizers are slowly trying to improve the program. They hope to bring in more dogs, hopefully one for each wing of the building.
So those are the things we try to do, is just to make this a place to live and kind of lose that stigma that people, you know, I hate to say it, but people come here to die, and it's not true. People come here to live, so that's kind of what we're trying to change.
With photographer Nessa LaQuire, I'm Kristen Gillick reporting for Studio One.
The Senior Living Center hopes to build a daycare attached to the building so residents can interact with kids every day. Staff would also like to see some cats roaming in the hallways in the future. School teachers always seem to come up with the most creative holiday art projects. Our next guest is a teacher turned artist. She's here to share her artistic talent with us.
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Let the University of North Dakota become your strategic partner by providing your business with skills to enhance your workforce retention and productivity efforts. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience in conducting employee satisfaction research, workforce needs assessments, and the development of customized training materials. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
The School of Law at the University of North Dakota. This is a unique place, a place where you can learn with some of the best technology, where you can talk to the faculty in small class settings, a place where student activity groups enhance your education, a place which offers interaction with the court system, an affordable place where you can gain all the skills you need to get a job. Take your place at the University of North Dakota School of Law. Phone 1-800-CALL-UND.
Why should I go to the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines? Is it the small class sizes and personal attention I'll get from the faculty and staff? Is it the hands-on student projects my friends and I will work on? Is it the professional internship programs that'll help me prepare for my future career? Maybe I just want to be a part of something amazing.
Find out for yourself what makes the UND School of Engineering and Mines the perfect choice for your engineering degree. Call 1-800-CALL-UND. That's 1-800-CALL-UND.
The Graduate School at the University of North Dakota is the premier graduate school of the Northern Great Plains, offering advanced degrees in more than 50 fields of study. Our innovative and flexible programs give full-time students, as well as working professionals, the opportunity to study under the guidance of nationally and internationally recognized faculty. Advance your career with a master's or doctoral degree from the Graduate School at the University of North Dakota.
There are piles of leaves in every yard and pumpkins on every doorstep. Halloween is almost here. But resist the temptation to buy your decorations this year. You have the tools in your own home to make some great Halloween tricks and treats. Artist Sandi Miles is here to teach us how. And Sandi, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's been fun coming up here.
Yeah, it's been fun working with you. And you've been teaching this type of craft to students for nearly 4 decades. You were,
sound so
No, but you were a teacher for 38 years, which is pretty amazing. Kind of makes you an expert on these things. And we're going to be doing a couple of crafts today, just with things that people would be able to find in their own homes. And tell me about how you got the inspiration for some of these crafts.
Well, when you called, I was thinking on the phone about the Halloween that I remembered the most, and it was during the war in 1943. I was 6 years old, and we had no paper in the school. The only paper we had was the newspaper that was brought there for the drives for recycling.
So you kind of
and so we had to make our decorations out of newspaper.
Well, let's show that first newspaper craft. We have some of the finished products over there that look pretty neat. The paper cutouts. What's the first thing you do for that?
Well, to practice with, the children should cut out a little practice sheet.
Out of the newspaper?
Out of the newspaper.
Okay, so what's the first step there? Do you fold it first?
You fold it first, and I'm using computer paper now, so we can use that also.
Stepped it up a bit.
Yes.
And
so
it looks like you come up with some cute little crafts.
Well, I
here.
got those designs from the ads in the newspaper. I was practicing, and I thought, oh, instead of a boring cat or like this one was, I jazzed them up a little bit, and there's another one there.
Cute. Now, how are you folding that paper? Just
I'm
kind
just
of accordion
going
style?
like accordion, back and forth.
And then you cut it next? Is that the
Yes.
next step?
And then be sure to take a black marker and put X's where you want to not cut.
Otherwise you'll
they'll
cut it right
fall
apart and it'll fold out nice like this.
All right. And so I just start cutting.
And you're making a little ghost on that one?
A
Kinda
little
like
ghost.
these cats here.
Yes, they were fun. I got,
These are cute.
they're different shapes. I have to cut this off here. This is getting in the
Got
way.
some extra on the side.
Yes. And
how do you display these then? You have them there kind of stuck on a big board?
well, on
Did you just use a
boards
glue
or
stick then?
branches or in the windows, or we put them on the ceiling at our school in the basement.
Oh, okay. Well,
You
how did
know,
you
they
learn
were-
how to do all this? How to fold it and cut it?
Well, the bigger kids in the country school, they taught all the little kids how to do things.
So you learn from the big kids.
And we couldn't buy costumes, so my grandma used the pillow sham off of her bed and put some elastic on, and I was Little Bo Peep.
Certainly a lot of creativity
So
involved.
when you see all the costumes in the store, it's unbelievable. You know, during the war we couldn't do that.
And there we have a big strip of ghosts.
And there, whoops.
We lost half of them,
somewhere.
but they look pretty good. Let's move on to the next craft here.
Okay.
We have a couple different things that we've done with apples here. This one's kind of cute. This is one that you had done. Talk about what happens to those when you...
Well, you take the peeling off, and then you carve a face in there, and then you let this dry for 3 weeks. So around Thanksgiving time, you have a shriveled up old person.
It's kind of wrinkly.
And then you can add clothes to it. And
he's a cute little guy. Kind of looks like Monty, huh?
And
now, what's this next thing that we're doing here?
Second one, you know, you always had apples in those days. You grew them on the farms
More than
and
pumpkins,
whatever
I'm
in
sure.
the yards. And so you hollow out the middle.
And did we hollow it out just like this with a spoon here? We've got one kind of half
You
done.
have to cut the top first and then hollow out,
And you
just like a reel.
Pull out the chunks of it. Looks kind of messy.
And then you have to put in the features the eyes, probably triangles for the eyes.
Oh, and just pops right out.
Yes. It really carves nicely.
And then what kind of candle do you use in there?
Birthday candle, probably.
Is that what we have? Yeah,
or
it looks like
little
over,
miniature flashlights, if you have those.
And it's just like a pumpkin jack-o'-lantern.
Right.
Well, that looks pretty good, and we have our finished one over here that I think was lit up, unless I think we might have burned the birthday candle all the way to the ground. But that looks pretty good.
There
I don't
we
want
go.
you to slice your finger.
No, it's going to be okay.
He looks kind of angry, actually.
I didn't mean to do that.
Well, that looks good. We'll set that up so they can see that one.
All right, I don't have the nose in yet, but we'll try.
Looks
Just
good.
Turn it around.
All right. Well, Sandy, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing with us these creative craft ideas for us.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be right back after this.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, Native American Programs is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Let your job experience help you earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering Degree Program offers the only ABET-accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through videotape and other technologies.
Allows you to have a class whenever you like.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
At UND Aerospace, let your future take flight. Plan your education in the most technologically advanced collegiate and contract aerospace training environment on the planet. Graduates work for top agencies and fly for every major airline nationwide. Study on campus, via distance learning, or at any of our facilities, and you'll be where the aviation industry leaders of tomorrow are today. UND Aerospace at the University of North Dakota, Grand Forks.
Are you a parent looking for childcare? Do you know what good childcare looks like? Do you provide childcare and have questions? Does childcare affect your business? Do you have employees who are concerned about childcare? Doesn't every child deserve quality childcare? Any questions? Call Child Care Resource and Referral.
Voller Insurance partners with you in protecting what matters most. For more than 50 years, Voller has built its reputation on its people, its clients, and a commitment to VIP service. Voller Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks. Voller Insurance understands that the strength of its people is its greatest asset. People that tailor insurance protection that meets your needs. That's the key to VIP service. Voller Insurance, Fargo, Bismarck, Grand Forks.
Well, I've never seen an apple lantern before.
I'm kind of excited about that shrunken head project.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go home and carve up all my apples.
And you've got something here as well?
Yeah, Sandy had also brought in some cute little drawings that her students had done over the years, just working with a pencil and paper.
And that's a spunky ghost.
That's a spunky ghost. Not a scary ghost, a spunky ghost.
So you can give a kid a pencil and say, draw me a spunky ghost, and there you have.
And that's what you're going to get,
Halloween crafts.
She had some fun ideas from her students over the years.
Great. Well, tune in next week on Studio One. They can be a knight in shining armor when you lock your keys in your car. We'll spend a day in the life of a locksmith. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
We're going to leave you now with some kids having fun on a pumpkin farm. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.